I am Mark Aaron. I am a Vikings, Twins, Wild fan, and general history nerd. Um, so I decided to start making the old Metropolitan Sports Complex, I guess was the full name, in Bloomington, Minnesota, where the Minnesota Twins and Vikings played here at Metropolitan Stadium from 61 to I think 81. And over here, the Minnesota North Stars played at Met Center from 67 to 93, I think, before they left for Dallas. So here's just a quick fly around tour first. A lot of the stuff you'll see is not totally completed yet, so these red dots are just kind of guides for me in making the rest of the parking lot. You can see it's not finished here. So here is the exterior of Metropolitan Stadium. Down there are ticket booths. Just kind of blocked out the rest of them. Those little white things are just footprints for what the rest of it will look like. A bunch of the parking lot, which is pretty much accurate as far as I can tell from old pictures. So just quick before I get into the rest of it, you can see these little blocks. This whole thing is to scale pretty accurately. A Minecraft block is, I believe, supposed to be a cubic yard, or cubic meter, excuse me. It's all metric. So I just roughly scaled it to be a cubic yard. So the baseball field is scaled to what the Mets dimensions were. The one thing that is kind of off is the vertical scale winds up being a little wonky. I can only work in 3 foot or these half slab 1.5 foot increments then, which means the whole thing is a little stretched a little bit tall, but oh well. Also, the means the parking lot stripes are 3 feet wide each, but I don't really care. It gives the illusion of a parking lot, so that's the best I can do. So here's the back of Metropolitan Stadium. I'll go a little quicker. Oh, there's this weird little feature right here. In one airplane video, airplane photo that I saw, there was a scale football field painted in the middle of the parking lot. I don't know if it was for playing football during tailgating or what, but that was real. So someday when I make a football version of this as well, stretching from the right field wall to the third baseline, basically, will be the football field. Um, all of these these flags are the team colors. As I picked a random date in, I think it was 78, for American League on the left and National League on the right, and that's what place they were in on whatever day I picked. So kind of nerdy, but the whole thing's kind of nerdy. So here's the rest of the parking lot on the way to the Met Center, that is. And it's entirely possible, because there's a lot of information loading between these two, that the game's going to start getting choppy, so I'll have to quick quit it and then come back in, but I'll edit that all out. So the parking lot's not finished over on this side, neither is the street. So here is Met Center. Yeah, I think it's starting to get choppy maybe. Okay. I'm going to quick quit and reload. Okay, I have reloaded. So this would be the north side of Met Center. Which is where I guess that's 494 would be right over in here. This is an IKEA now, or it's pretty much where the IKEA is. I think half of it is in the IKEA. and Met Stadium's Mall of America. Okay, so we'll go in the entrance over here. The doors, as my first possible inaccuracy, I can't really find what color they were except for an image when the North Stars went to the black jerseys and black logo before moving to Dallas. So the doors were all black. I think I might have seen them reddish earlier, but most images from the 70s are black and white, so I can't tell what color these gates were initially. And that also goes for the concourse. I can't quite tell what color the walls were in the 70s. I think later on they were dark green. I've seen images of that. So I'll do a quick just walk around the concourse as I have it right now. Here's a ticket office, little bathroom, another bathroom, I think. A lot of this was taken from a pamphlet that I found for a 1975 season ticket holders, basically just tour of the arena, on a Minnesota hockey history website. I don't remember the name of it right now. So the locations of these and the scale to the rest of it should be pretty accurate. I think this would be roughly the size of the concourse right here. You can tell in the corners it's way, way bigger, and that's because I don't have in there what was supposed to be there, because I don't know what that looked like. So, yeah, that's a lot of the interior, meaning not the playing area and the stands. I'm not entirely sure what it looked like. So here we go into the arena itself. You'll notice a hole right here. That's so I could scribe down the walkway onto the lower level for where walls and things would go. So here is the interior of the arena with the funky multicolored seats, which I was recently informed were actually, they had the black ones there initially too. For some reason I thought they didn't. So I have these big struts up here which are not done. They need to have the rest of the triangular structure, support structure in there, but I'll do that eventually. The scoreboard at, I believe, roughly the right height, but I'm not totally sure about that. One of the Zamboni entrances, maybe it was only one Zamboni entrance, but one of them is bigger than the other, which is accurate. The nets, I can't really do anything about not having a crossbar, short of putting something like, it'd be red colored, but putting something like that at the top, which I think kind of looks dumb. So I'm just going to probably leave them like this because that's the best I can get. All the torches and lights on the floor and things are just to keep the light level up because it is a game with light and darkness. I'm going to try to fix that later. This would be the penalty box. The Stars logo, I know one of them pointed that way and the other one would have pointed this way, but the game doesn't want to do that off of one edited block. So eventually I might make a second one to have it point the other way, but I'm not sure. We'll see. Here would be the player benches. We'll go in there into the locker room area eventually. Up here I have the press box area, which I have been informed this is probably the original version or something like that, because eventually it came down to more like here or something. So if I can get accurate pictures of that, I will definitely change it, but as of right now all I have shows it being back that far. This overhang, I'm not entirely sure how it worked in the corners, so that's something else I don't really have pictures of. I also don't know what was in the corner over on this side of the arena, both corners on this side of the arena. But in this corner we have the, I think, is it the Observation Club or Observatory Club? I don't remember the name. I have no idea what it looked like in here, unfortunately. I think I saw one little tiny picture where it's a close-up of a table, but other than that, I have no idea what it actually looked like in here. I do know there was this little desk thing right here. I've seen that in an image. So anyway, that's the inside of the arena. We'll go into the guts and the underbelly stuff over here through the player locker room. All of this again is based on that 1970, the footprint that 1975 pamphlet shows. So here's some sort of locker room that I'm not entirely sure what it was. This, I believe, would be the North Stars locker room. Like, here's the main area. Probably showers or a coach's office or something. Trainers' rooms maybe over here. Unfortunately, you can't really do diagonals in Minecraft. You have to just have them be steps like this because everything is straight blocks. But yeah, this is about all I can find is just roughly the size of the rooms. So I guess we'll go this way. Again, all of these lights on the ceiling will eventually not be there. I know this is another footprint of something, not entirely sure what. Here's a loading dock area. Oh, it got dark outside. I'm eventually going to raise everything up to that being the lowest level. Haven't done it yet, but I will. So here's one of the tunnels. I'm going to make this step more natural. I haven't done that yet. I'm trying to not have it be too herky-jerky. The camera, that is. I have no idea what this stuff looked like over here except for that pamphlet, and I haven't put it in yet. It was like trainers' rooms or building management and stuff like that, as far as I can tell. And then this side is another loading dock. I don't really know what it looked like in here in terms of elevation. I have to assume that there was probably a raised dock at some point so a truck could back up to it and have it be at the gate height of the truck, but I don't know. Oh, this, I think I've seen a picture with this goofy little hill thing here, but I'm not entirely sure on that. I'm not, it's really not a oft photographed area of the arena, so I'm not sure. But yeah, that's pretty much the guts of the Met Center. Now I'm all twisted up on what direction I came in. Let's go out this way, and hopefully this is the right way. It's probably not. It's not. So I'll hop over and head over to Met Stadium now. Here's the top of Met Center. So here's the funky multicolored exterior of Met Stadium. This one I have a lot better detail of, and it's more finished in terms of the exterior, the playing area, the seats and everything. So again, on that vertical scale thing I was talking about earlier, these entrance gates are much taller looking than they were in reality, simply because everything just got expanded height-wise a little more than it should have, but I can't really do anything about that, so that's the way it is, and there you go. So in here is literally the only spot where I kind of have a little bit of an idea what it looked like in here, because of a I think it was 1974 Dave Moore WCCO special where he was standing at this concession stand. He hears the crack of the bat and frantically turns around to see what happened in the game. So you can kind of see there was a wall here because of originally the Met Stadium was built only to this triple decker point. All this double deck section was all added a few years later. Thus the wall. So I have absolutely no idea what it looked like back here. I think there would have been offices and stuff on this side, but I don't know. Bathrooms and concessions and things over here, but again, I don't know. That's all stuff that is just kind of lost to history, unfortunately, unless I can find someone who knows. So here is the seat area, the seating area. I got all of the blue and green sections as accurately as I could. I'm not entirely sure how accurate that is, but again, that's not something people photographed very often. I put a little net back here, another custom made texture. The scoreboard's a custom made texture. Everything, I mean, a lot of the stuff is custom made. Let's see. So just a quick look around. And then I'll go more in depth. So I think just as a anecdote, my dad's Viking seats would have been right around in here, I believe. Something like this. Okay, so the areas where I have absolutely no idea what's going on are up here. I know that I can see in some images, if I mess with the contrast, there's a little structure up here. I don't know what it looked like or what it was. I know there's a little ring that I can see from earlier images when they didn't have the squares, these colored squares on the exterior blocking. It was just a wide open thing with maybe a chain link fence. You could kind of see that there was a concrete path that connected all of these to get to the second deck seats out to here. But again, I don't have any real images of that. It's kind of speculation. I have not put in all the truss work and guts into this yet, but I will. So here's another little building that I can see in some pictures. I don't know what it is. Another few over here. And this would all again be the main, not the main concourse, I guess that's inside, but like the upper concourse and the lower deck. This red thing I can see in really old images of the Met. I don't know if it was an elevator shaft or a stairway or what, but it went from the bottom up to the top deck. At least it appears to have. Another structure over here that I can't quite tell what it is. And then up here at the top of the second deck, same thing, where I don't really know what's going on up here. No pictures really show, except for the baseball press box, which would have been right here. The second monster, that was a weird noise. The second baseball press box would have been built right here. I have not finished that yet, obviously, so that'll go in eventually. The football press box, I know what it looked like on the outside. The inside, I completely made it up just because I wanted it to have something in there. I'm sure it's not correct. I'm positive it's not correct because it kind of can't be. I just guessed. And then here's the second deck to it. So yeah, I just kind of winged it. If I can ever get images of what it did look like in here, I will absolutely gut all of this and change what it looked like. The one thing that I can kind of tell what it looked like was out here around the way. There was this, I think it was like a reporter, I don't know, camera well or something. Kind of looked like a dugout. So there's that. And then up on the third deck, I can tell that that there was something right here, but again, I don't know what, and I don't have the footprint laid down right now. I know there was something here. This white structure was the original baseball press box from when it was first built. It was really small, and they eventually turned it into suites, which were the only suites the stadium had, and you can see they were not exactly what we would consider a luxury suite today. And I know that there was something over here. I only know that, like a beer stand, I only know that because my dad would go from down there up the entrance ramp things, grab a couple beers, and meet his friend here to watch the second half of Vikings games. And again, the vertical scale is off, so these are more obstructed seats than they really would have been. But there's nothing I can do about that. So over here we have this goofy little stairway, and I can tell that there was a door here from certain pictures. I'm not entirely sure what it looked like under here, but my guess is it's something like this, because this hill was here when the stadium was originally built. These stands were added later. The light tower is behind it. Out here you have the permanent grandstand in left field. Initially there was a rolling grandstand that would move out to about here for football games, but they eventually, I think like 64, 65, built the permanent one, which was this. And again, I can't really tell what it looked like in here, except for I saw one picture where I can kind of tell that there were these long walkway structures, or walkways up to the main, I guess, aisle up here. So I have no idea though what it looked like down in here, if there were any concession stands, or I have no idea what it looked like down here, or if there was even access for the public down to here, because I know during the 65 World Series you could see people standing in this little fenced area, but eventually they put a big tarp over it, and which maybe I should, I'm not sure if this is from the 70s, maybe there should be a tarp over the chain link fence. But the chain link fence is kind of cool, so I'm reluctant to do it. So going up to the second deck, again, I have no idea what it looked like in here. Yeah, just there aren't pictures of it. And I have asked the Twins and Vikings, and they kind of just don't have anything. So this is the second deck of the left field grandstand with the Harmon Killebrew seat, which is now on the wall of the Nickelodeon universe in the Mall of America. The big giant foul poles. Over here we have, these seats were added later for Vikings games. No one really sat in them for Twins games though, because they were blacked out because of the hitter's backdrop. They didn't want people back here. Here's as accurate as I can tell the bullpens being. The scoreboard, which is all a bunch of weird custom stuff that I made. It's just the text is all gibberish. I just wanted it to look like it said something. The ads are from a picture I found. I can't remember if this is what was up there when the stadium was closed or if it was from earlier than that, but we have a Levi's ad on the left, a Phillips 76 in the middle, and Marlboro. And you can kind of, especially if I back up, you can kind of make out it's a cowboy from like the chest up wearing a yellow jacket and a blue cowboy hat. And the very distinct looking clock. And the wood grandstand out here in right. There were trees back here. A little, I'm assuming, batting cage. Eventually I'm going to put the little boat that they would store back here. There was a boat that they would have for Vikings games that would sit out in kind of center field. Just like a Viking ship thing. I don't really know what this thing was, but that's, as far as I can see from pictures, roughly what it looked like. Again, in here I have absolutely no idea what it looked like. The real big thing where I have no clue is down here. I know that this hill would have been here originally. I'm assuming it would have stayed, but I don't know. Maybe they dug it back when they built the new first base line double-decker grandstand, but I don't know. In here would be the original triple-decker stadium. So what we have right here is the tunnel that, as far as I can tell, would have been, players must have entered somewhere over here. Again, we're back at that entrance we originally came into. Players must have entered somewhere here, went down, and gone through a tunnel, or I don't know where this would have ended. It's again, I have no images of this. I don't have a layout, nothing. It's really hard to tell. The Twins clubhouse would have been in here somewhere, because this is the path to the dugout, which should actually be dug back kind of more to here. I do have one image of that, which is kind of cool, and it should be a little bit wider too. I've not done that yet, but you go down that and then up to get to the Twins dugout. So this is what the view from the dugout roughly would have looked like. And since we're by the dugout, I will also show this weird little warm-up mound thing, which before the game they just have the starting pitchers warm up right there. And right here-ish, I think, either here or here, is where my dad sat for the 1965 All-Star game. And I even have picture proof of that I found online. He was like 11 or 12 years old. But yeah, so I don't have a whole lot of the interior because there's just not really anything. There aren't images or maps or anything really showing what the inside of it looked like. And that's mostly the reason I want to finish this, is that I never went to either of these. I was born in 1983. So I have absolutely no idea what it looked like in there. And I'm just, for preserving history, I think it'd be cool to finish it. It would be the most complete model of either of these two venues in existence. So anyway, that is that. Thanks for watching.